Go ahead.
Yeah, the question is, why couldn't you just ask the judge to release you from everything? I mean,
You can be the bankruptcy judge?
yeah, just ask him to release you.
Have you ever looked at the seal that the courts have?
Yeah.
What's in that seal?
The name of the court.
No. A scales.
He's the fulcrum.
The judge is the fulcrum. The right and left basket on the scales is going to be the public trustee and the judicial trustee, or the public defender and the public prosecutor.
Okay.
They have to come into balance and then present their justice, equal justice, to the judge. At the fulcrum. He's the fulcrum.
But isn't that the standing when you first come into the court? It's already set up that way?
That's why there is a bench on one side, or a chair on one side, and a chair on the other side. Because you've got one basket and you've got the other basket. You've got the right and left basket on the scales of justice. And you have to turn your executor over to the public trustee and the judicial trustee and let them fight it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then if need be, they have to present their request to the judge so that the judge can issue a warrant, a bench warrant, to go and arrest the account so that they can settle it. Everybody out here thinks that they're a damn lawyer and they don't know shit about damn justice and what the scales are on their damn Justice Department. And the only reason why the blindfold is over Lady Justice now is because it's under bankruptcy. Everything. It's blindfolded. The manumissions are only going to the U.S. trustee and to the U.S. attorneys, okay? They're not going to the clerk of the court or to the bankruptcy judge. That's why this is M1, and I've got 9 of them. M1, M2, M3, M4, all the way down to M9. I'll do one for my Social Security account, for my Medicare account, for my, let me see, what else do I have?
DD-214. DD-214.
For my DD-214, for my VA Veterans Affairs card, for my IRS EIN estate, for my passport, for my Iowa driver's license and ID, for my Iowa voters executor, and for my state of New York marriage certificate executor. You make one out for each one of those documents that you have. Now, if you don't know all your bank accounts, you just basically make a general statement in your cover letter to the U.S. trustee and to the U.S. attorneys that basically this, with the Social Security, is going to cover all associated accounts. Because when you terminate the Social Security account, those bank accounts basically have to be terminated also. because they're all tied in to that damn Social Security. There's 5 other documents. It's going to be a B-20A notice of motion of manumission, and I'm going to put that on green paper. A copy of that will go into the clerk of the court, to the judge, to the U.S. attorney, and to the to the U.S. trustee. Also, a copy of my baptismal certificate as proof of beneficiary status, that I'm a living beneficiary. The original, a copy of my affirmation of emancipation and manumission document, and then attachment, the amendments 13, 14, and 15 document against slavery, and then also a copy of the UCC 5-108 and 5-109. Those 5 items will go to the clerk of the court and to the judge. None of the manumission documents will go to the clerk of the court or to the judge. We just give a notice of motion of manumission to the court. The trustees are going to have to be the ones to bring those manumissions into settlement, bringing them into the bankruptcy court. They now have the executors, so now they have to bring them in. It's up to them. It's not up to you any longer. You've done your job. You're the beneficiary. Let the public servants do their damn job. And going over that, Social Security, basically, there's 2 items in there. Basically, identity theft and also slander of title. They have falsely identified all capital name person as being the trust beneficiary when he is, in fact, the trust executor. And that's identity theft. That's taking our identity as the beneficiary away from us. And then they turn around and try and claim that we are the executor, and that is slandering our title as beneficiary. Therefore, the beneficial owners have dirty hands. They will not be able to appear in this court. We don't allege fraud. We prove fraud. That's a fact. And that's what most people make a total mistake about. They go in and they allege fraud, but they have no proof of what the fraud really is. This one for the Social Security card is basically pretty much a template there for you guys to sort of go over, and then you should make your others similar to this. Put a copy of your Social Security card front and back on there. Put a copy of your Medicare card on there. And if you've got a Medicare card, basically just take a look at it. Even on the Medicare card, it shows the fraud right blatantly on that card. It says the beneficiary. In my case, is Patrick Devine, all capital. I'm not dead. I'm the living beneficiary. But they're claiming the executor is basically the beneficiary on that damn card. The X. Everything out here is done in bankruptcy. Like I said on the last call, that basically the UCC is basically the Universal Commercial Coded Bankruptcy Laws. All the states are using the UCC. Therefore, all the state courts are also operating as bankruptcy courts. All these charges and everything are against a trust. You have to turn around and give up the executor and let the public defender, you get a public defender, and the county prosecutor or the prosecutor settle the damn matter. But they can't settle it until you give up the executor over the account that they want to charge. It's that damn simple. And see, the public defender and the prosecutor, they are both working under the Attorney General's office. They also have bar cards. So they are really operating under the bankruptcy statutes out of England. Because England is the one who is the custodian over the United States corporate copyrighted bankrupt United States and all associated state of bankrupt corporations. England is the whore of Babylon. Not the United States, not the Church of Rome, not the Roman Catholic Church. It's England with the banking conglomerate in London town. That's the gist of it.
Yeah.
People have been making this thing a mountain out of a molehill. It's all about bankruptcy. They've got a charge, you need to let them discharge it. You have a traffic ticket. You turn the driver's license over to them. Hand the ticket over to the prosecuting attorney and the public defender. You as the beneficiary, sit down and shut up. You tell them to settle the matter. That's it. Here, I do a manumission over to you for the executor. Now the turd is in their hands. The clean hands doctrine comes into play in this big time. Because you can only be heard if you have clean hands. And as soon as you get rid of your executor turd, you now have clean hands. You're like Pilate. You washed your hands. Now the trustees have to do something with that turd and get it out of their hands. It's like a hot potato. And when this takes place, the beneficial owners cannot be heard because we just identified that they don't have clean hands, and they can't be heard if they have unclean hands. Read the clean hands doctrine. They're obtaining unjust profits. They're using identity theft, and every one of the inspector generals out there on their website addresses identity theft. The FBI, everybody out here, Secret Service, U.S. Marshals, all of them have identity theft on their damn sites. because that's what these beneficial owners are doing. They are taking our identity away from us and renaming it for their benefit. And then they're slandering our title in the process. Okay, anybody got questions?
Yeah. It says attachment number M-1. What does that mean?
I said at the beginning, that is manumission number 1. I've got 9 of them, M1 through M9, as attachments to the letter that I'm sending into the U.S. attorneys and to the U.S. trustee. This isn't rocket science, people. How would you do it?
And the letter you're sending in is basically the B20A form in our own format?
No, we'll have we do a B20A. We convert it into a Word document, and then we fill it out, and that's going in also, but you have to have a cover letter.
Okay, cover letter describing the process.
You've got to have a cover letter to the clerk of the court, a cover letter to the judge, a cover letter to the U.S. attorney, and a cover letter to the U.S. Trustee. I would also send a cover letter and address several of these items over to the state attorney general.
Okay.
Making him aware that basically you are doing a manumission and you're putting it into the federal system, and that they will be being contacted by the federal trustee and the federal U.S. attorneys to come in and confiscate the state shit that they're holding.
So which ones will we turn over at the county level? Just things like traffic tickets? Car titles will still
You do it all to the federal level unless you have a court case right now.
Okay, all to the federal level. Good. Thank you.
Why make a mountain out of a molehill and go 5 different directions if you can go just one direction?
All right.
I only tried to give you the example that if you do have something at the present time, you can basically bring it to a head, and basically per section 5108, they have 5 days to do. Those trustees have 5 banking days to bring that into settlement after you give the turd over to them.
Okay.
You try and argue anything else, and you're going to be wrong, okay? It's all about bankruptcy. This country's been in bankruptcy before you were born. That is your first step, is to get out of bankruptcy. Having your trust, your assets being used as a constructive charitable trust for the bankruptcy of these fraudulent beneficial owners, the state and the United States corporation. When we come out, we will be basically classified as and see, we are an American citizen. We have never done a naturalization to any other foreign country. We have an executor that basically is a U.S. citizen but we are the living as the beneficiary are not a U.S. citizen or a national citizen or a state citizen. We're an American citizen. And then when we come out, we will stand as a protectorate in the process. And basically, a protectorate is one who has authority over government by a protector, a country which the United States has taken under its protection, but not with the intent to assume sovereignty over it. The country is the United States bankrupt corporation country. But the United States of America, constitutional United States of America constitutional, has a protection over it. So it is standing as a protectorate over this bankrupt country. We will also come out and stand as a protector over the citizens of America that are in this bankrupt corporation. We can protect them. We will come in as a non-practicing lawyer into any court case. Which means that we do not take pay. We're doing it voluntarily. We're essentially a retired lawyer or man of law, knowing the common law, and basically we're not going to be practicing, and only one who practices gets paid. And these bar attorneys, okay, that are working for the U.S. trustee or basically the public defender's office or the county prosecutor, working for the State Department, state of whatever, Attorney General's office, or the U.S. Attorneys that are working for the U.S. Attorney General, they all have liability bonds. So if they do not settle this in the 5 days, you can put a charge in against their bond of office. One guy was wanting and basically complaining about the clerk of the court not filing papers that he was trying to put into a state court for harm caused by some county or whatever. And I said, you're putting it into the wrong court. You need to find out the person that injured you, their license or badge number, their EIN for their employer. If you can, get their last 4 digits of their Social Security number, and then you file a claim against their account in bankruptcy at the federal level. But you spend all your time trying to get revenge, and basically that could turn around and bite you in the butt. when you can turn around and get completely out of the system and have more money and get rid of that turd that's stuck crossways in your gut, and you'll feel a hell of a lot better. Any questions?
But this really has all kinds of ramifications, Patrick. I mean, I need to go over what you've just said because you really cram-packed it in. That's great.
It's not that hard. You're giving it up. You're giving up the executor. Now the trustees have to bring it into settlement.
Yeah, it is simple, but it covers a whole lot of territory. Wow.
See, you can't settle the matter like we were trying to do before with all of our bills of exchange and everything else. We can't do it. We're the beneficiary. But the beneficiary stands over the trustees in the process. The trust was set up for our benefit, not for the state. And then they did a fraudulent assignment, sending all of our credits over to the executor. Now he's holding them, and he can't release them because he don't got no hands. He's a turd. So you have to get him out of your hands over to the trustees who can do something. That's why they're called trustees.
Patrick, what if they send the documents back to you? What if they send your envelope full of
They
charges?
ain't going to send these documents back to you.
Okay.
They will only send them back to you if you go in there as a scared little brat, not knowing what the shit you're doing. You have this basically, like I said, it's mailed out by certified mail. And basically, as soon as they accept delivery of it, it's a done deal. That turd is in their hands. You can't shove that turd back up your ass. It don't work that way, people. Come on.
It's a one-way. It's an out, not an in.
Should we leave turd in the letter?
Oh, yeah.
If you want to, I'm leaving it in. I know what the hell turd means. Let them look it up. A contemptible person or thing.
Yep.
An unpleasant or contemptible person or thing. And the origin of turd came from where? Old England.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the hell did the statutory laws come for the public trustee and the judicial trustee? England.
Mm.
The whore of Babylon.
England. Queen Beach of England.
Okay, so using this letter,
This is not the letter. This is just one of the manumissions that I had sent out.
okay.
You've got to do a cover letter, and then you've got to do your affirmation document, and then you have to do your B20A form also.
So when do we get rid of all the EINs?
We are going to keep the 98 series EIN. We need to have a bank routing number, and basically that EIN says trustee. It does not say executor on it.
Okay, how about the bank?
Just a second. Let me make sure you get one at a time. Does everybody understand? We keep the 98 or the foreign grantor trust EIN.
Roger.
Because we have to be able to process our warehouse receipts, known as the birth certificate, when we put a value on it and get it authorized or authenticated by an Article 3 court judge, have the judge issued the warrant to the treasurer, and then basically per our foreign grantor trust EIN, we are able to route the funds out of the treasury into the private. So we need to have a trustee do that, and that is going to be our foreign grantor trustee. Now, we surrender the estate EIN by manumission when we do the same thing with the Social Security card and the Medicare card and your driver's license and all the rest of them. So we get rid of the estate EIN because that one does say executor on it. Now, the individual banker one is in the private. We need to keep that one because you're going to have receipts that are in this public bankrupt system, and we will take the receipts using our individual banker's EIN and send those up to the U.S. trustee and have him run them through the bankruptcy to do a draw against the general tariff tax reserve funds that are being held in the Federal Reserve Bank off budget. We need to have a bank routing number to do that, and that's going to be that individual banker's EIN number.
So we're also keeping that EIN,
Yeah,
and the
keeping the
98 are being kept.
Right.
Under,
I can't
state
understand
EIN.
what the hell you're saying.
Oh, he's talking about the private individual banker, just what you said.
And we just released the state EIN. And
Because it's got the bad title on it.
yeah. Oh my. Thank you, Patrick. This is awesome.
You guys have a court case, you need to get a public defender. Then you've got the two parts of the scales of justice. And then you turn your executors over to them because all these charges, unless you have actually harmed somebody, it's all about bankruptcy.
I have a question.
And the beneficial owners are trying to draw more funds out of your back pocket for their benefit and profits. They're the ones that are operating in fraud. Now we can prove the fraud against them. That's why half or sometimes these damn tickets get totally canceled because somebody stands up there and is able to say something good enough or close enough to shut down the damn prosecutor from pursuing with the charge. Because it's all in fraud. And I just gave you two items. One is about slander of title, and then the other is identity theft. And if the trustees do not do their job right, they will end up in jail. That is per trust law.
So they're screwed by their own law. Awesome. They hold the stinking turd.
Patrick, I heard you say just a second ago, if you have a court case, you need to get it something and then have the two parts of scales of justice. I kind of missed that. Could you go over that
You
again,
need
please?
to have a public defender assigned to your court case.
Okay.
Now, if you brought the court case in there, you've already got an attorney. You turn it over to him. He's now acting as your public trustee. And then you turn your executor over to him and to the prosecuting attorney and let them settle the matter. The charge is not against you. It's against the executor.
Exactly. Got it. Thank you.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we actually did a good thing by getting the estate EIN, so we have an executor to turn in.
Well, no, we've got an executor in all these items. We just now got an overall executor also that sits over all of them.
Right, okay.
Because that's covering the estate. He is the estate executor of all of these trusts. Basically, essentially, in a way, we pulled all these SSN associated items into one trust.
Right.
So how do you turn over the executor to the...
You do the same thing that I did with the Social Security person there. You just rename it.
Okay.
Estate EIN person. Now, he does not have a trust. He is over the estate, so you've got to reward it appropriately.
So that's why you have M-1 through 9.
Right. That's what I said.
Yes, because I'm going to do one
understand.
for the Social Security card, one for my Medicare card, one for my DD-214 trust that they set up, one for the estate EIN person, one for my driver's license and ID, one for my voter registration card, one for my passport, one for my marriage certificate.
And if people had like car title or life or health insurance things, they should add them for that.
You can basically list those all, but they will also be set in because they're also under the Social Security. So when the Social Security goes down, they're going to have to go too.
Right.
But you will surrender those when they come to see you.
Right.
Like I said, Patrick, I don't want to give up my pilot license, so...
Give that goddamn thing up. You don't need a pilot's license to fly. You don't need a driver's license to drive. Did the Wright brothers have pilot's license to fly?
Hell no!
Did all the damn people in the Air Force and everything else have a pilot's license? No. They got qualified, but that was it.
You could still...
Especially in World War I. You show me one pilot license that those guys had flying those biplanes.
Get in the plane and fly. What license?
Movie was out years ago about this 12-year-old girl or whatever that basically flew a light plane all the way up to Canada taking a bunch of ducks or geese back north. She didn't have a license. Stop worshiping these goddamn gods, false gods. The government does not have the authority over the living person. The living person is supposed to be standing over this damn corporate government. You are not a Republican or a Democrat. If you are claimed to be a Republican or Democrat, you are claiming a false religion. Because that's all that being a Democrat or Republican is. You have a fucked up belief in a fucking religion.
You'd still do your proper, like, due diligence, is like notifying when you're going to go out, if you're going to be in the, you know, area where there's high traffic and that sort of thing. I mean, you'll do the normal precautionary things. You just don't have to have the license.
You will basically, once you get out of this, they will come and contact you, and basically you will be flagged upon the system. You will be green sheeted so that when they pull up your name in the process, they will say, hands off. We have no jurisdiction over that person because they are not in bankruptcy. They're not a peon, slave that we can charge with something. Because you have not broken any real law. They can only charge someone who basically believes that they're a bankrupt. That you believe you've got to hand your title to your car over to the state so that the state can make a profit off that car, or your property so that the state can go out and write bonds and make a profit off it. You don't have to do any of that.
Well, Patrick, if we are a sovereign, then why couldn't we create bonds?
Because you need a license for the FCC. Oh, God.
No, it makes sense to me. Sovereign to sovereign.
He's going to make Patrick want to talk.
I don't think the people are sovereign. I think they have sovereignty, but they're not sovereign.
We are sovereign. We are sovereign.
Supreme Maker is only sovereign one. The land is sovereign. This is my opinion only. People are not sovereign. They have sovereignty, but they are not sovereign. The Creator is sovereign.
How do we get from English rule? How do we get from it? Bloodshed. Don't tread on me flags. All that. We are sovereign.
Well, why do you need a pilot's license then?
Oh, I mean, a lot of hours up there, man. I mean, that's a keepsake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then somebody mentioned the word bonds. Why can't we write bonds? So that's being double-minded. That's
well,
that,
no.
that's
I'm saying that if a court can make a, not a court, whoever makes the bonds up, there's no reason why we couldn't make bonds up or print money.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were on the get out of the system call.
Who said
we
that?
have, because that's what we do. That's what we've been doing. We've been doing bonds. We've been in bondage, and we've kept our brothers and sisters under this debt that we can never pay back. When we're not for profit, not for hire, there's no need to do anything like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, for one moment, this is to the Marine guy. He asked about actually doing our own bonds. You cannot do your own bonds because now you're getting back into the system because you need an FCC license to manage bonds and move bonds around. You're getting back into the system, which is so much you want to get out of. That's why you need.
We want to get out of bondage. We want to get out of bondage.
So then you don't go looking to make a bond. You already have a bond, which is your birth certificate with a treasury. That's it.
And your word is your bond.
No. They
Warehouse
tell you. They tell you that, but you tell them that. See, we are going around like little sheeple, right? You know, the poor little lamb. We've been sovereign ever from the beginning.
No, you're not the sovereign. The sovereign is the land. You are the sovereignty of the land.
Right. We're not sovereign people. He's saying it the correct way. The Creator is sovereign, and we are the sovereignty of the land. But we ourselves are not sovereign.
Man cannot have disciples under you.
Patrick's laughing at us.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
He's going, oh, these people.
Patrick, I have a question.
You don't have something.
I was told when I came back from Vietnam, everything is taken care of. They're going to take good care of me and all that bull crap.
And you're still believing it?
Hell no.
Okay.
Patrick, I have a question. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm back on the line now.
Okay, Patrick. You know, we did the emancipation, and we turned over all of our EINs when we did that mailing to Kansas and to Philadelphia.
We sent them to the wrong place.
I know, but my question is, since we sent those saying we're turning all of our slaves over, so now we're going to be keeping some of our slaves. Well, now in that retrospect, since we turned them over to Kansas and Philadelphia.
You didn't hear anything from any of those documents, and basically in some cases I got the ones back that I sent into Kansas City. They sent them back to me. I never did get the one back from Philadelphia, never heard from several of the other people out here. So basically they never went anywhere because they went to the wrong place.
Okay.
They couldn't do a damn thing with them. It has to go to the trustees.
Okay. Well, I sent mine as well and hadn't heard back, and so I didn't know if they were just going to keep those, or since I did that.
It don't make a damn bit of difference. They can't do anything with them anyway.
Okay. It would be nice if they'd send all my receipts back that I sent in with that little stamp that we got and stamped all those receipts.
We will send basically those in, and basically you should have kept a copy of the invoice or whatever you sent in, and basically you could turn around and resend that into the trustee after you get this manumission done, and then you'll send that in with your individual banker's EIN requesting compensation for those receipts.
Okay.
Because you're the beneficiary.
All right.
Yeah, you just add all those up and put them all in a box and put a cover letter and say, hey, there's my EIN, and basically I want compensation. I want the credits compensated for all of these to be drawn against the general tariff tax fund that is sitting in the Federal Reserve Bank in off-budget accounts.
Okay.
And that will decrease the national debt that is out here because that debt is owed to we the people.
Right. Okay.
See, all the CAFR funds and everything else at the state level, basically, they're holding those in the CAFR funds. Mm-hmm. Then you would turn around, and once you get this process done, you would either address some of those to the state CAFR funds. You could send them into the to the Attorney General's office for settlement from the CAFR fund. That's why you would send a copy of this letter, but you send into, for the state manumissions, that you're sending into the U.S. trustee and the U.S. Attorneys. You would also send the state a copy of the state manumissions up to the Attorney General's office, giving those over to the Attorney General, to his judicial and public trustees that are working for him.
Okay.
That's the state attorney general, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The federal, basically, trustees, the U.S. trustee, and the U.S. attorneys will probably take care of them the first time, but basically you'll have these on record at the state attorney general's office, so that if anything further comes up, you can basically go directly to the Attorney General's office and say, based upon this manumission of this instrument, I want compensation.
Okay.
Like they owe me for all the appearance bonds that basically they had, and basically all the court cases, all the bonds that were written in the court cases, they owe me compensation for all of those, since I paid the traffic tickets out of my back pocket. So they owe me all of those appearance bonds back, fully paid. And see, we're not going to get those until we surrender, or we do a manumission of our executors over to these trustees. Those guys in the state attorney general's office are brokers. What is a trustee? He is a broker. I said that before, but I didn't have what I needed there. I needed to turn over the trustees to him so that they could broker them. Any other questions?
Yes, now, Patrick. Thank you very much.
Yes, there is a bunch of questions. Ask them, people.
Hey, what's the Son of Man account? You mentioned that in the last call.
The what?
The Son of Man account.
You've got
that is your beneficiary account.
Okay.
The God is basically your spirit, your living spirit that's driving this body. The Son of Man is basically classified as your right hand.
Perfect.
Study the Bible, okay? It's all about bankruptcy and banking laws. The whole Egyptian, the whole Babylonian, all of these prophets and everything. Basically, they were out there trying to help the people get out of these bankruptcy, these fraudulent bankruptcy actions. And see, most of the time, the government isn't really concerned about the money. They're more concerned about trying to control you so that you don't stand up to them and have control over them. They're afraid of you waking up because once you're awake, now you are a danger to them. You could shut them down. Most all these judges and attorneys and everybody else out here, they all have mortgages. They're all in debt. They don't know how to come out of the system, half of them. And then basically they're locked in because they basically have taken an oath, sworn oath, to this fraudulent system.
That's a good question right there, Patrick. You know, when you go to the military, you take that oath. How do you get out of the oath?
You took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, right?
Yes.
Okay. Where does that say you took an oath or you swore a national allegiance to a bankrupt country?
Both.
You didn't. That is part of the fraud that they're trying to perpetrate on you, that you have basically expatriated away from being an American citizen. Show me the naturalization paper that I basically expatriated away from being an American citizen. There is none.
Well, when you get a DD-214, isn't that getting out of the oath?
No, that was basically, you basically have that under your Social Security number and your Selective Service number. That now became a trust, a military trust that is being held out here for the beneficial owners, the Defense Department, the Veterans Administration Department. They are the fraudulent beneficial owners of those documents because of those numbers. When you terminate the Social Security and the Selective Service number off of the DD-214, now it's a clean document. Those numbers no longer apply.
But I still have to go to the county office.
You get a copy of that, then you can turn around and use that as a draw against the de jure treasury of the country. But you have to get rid of the numbers off of the document first.
So then it
will now stand as a document showing that you did honorable military service.
So that would be 3 numbers: Social Security, my service number, and...
Put down your service number too then, okay? But you get rid of those numbers.
Yeah.
That now becomes a numberless document. But it is a DD-214 document, so that's the number that's on there, and basically it says honorable service. So now you can use that as a warehouse receipt draw against the de jure treasury.
Okay, I got 2 DD-214, so I'd have to do it twice.
No, you only have one, the first one. First 2 years of military service. That is what you got your bounty, military bounty from.
Gotcha. Understand.
Okay.
So you do yours?
I've got 2. I had 8 years in. Basically, I've got 2 honorable discharges too. You get 1 for every 4 years, roughly. Or you can get 1 for 2 years if you just did 2 years of service.
Well, I did 4 years, 3.5 re-up, and then 6 years later came out with a second one. So 9.5 years, Marine Corps.
And you could have walked out when you turned 25.
Yeah, I didn't
Free
know
and
that.
clear.
Where is that written down, that 25? Where is that?
It's in the Constitution.
Well, that's for the representative.
It's in the Constitution. I said this. Listen, people, you cannot represent another person unless you are totally free. That means you have no bonds attached to you. So, your military obligation is a bond against you, and basically at the age of 25, it goes away. That's
You
simple.
mean I didn't have to spend the rest of those years in?
Nope.
That's right.
Even after
That's
I
why
re-up
when I
for 6 years?
basically, I was up, I had a 1.5 year obligation because I was a staff instructor at nuclear power school. I had a year. I would have had to take a year extension to take chief. If I was going to do all that, I might as well go for the 3 years and get the ship over pay. I turned it all down. Pissed off the old man that basically couldn't do a damn thing about it because I was 28 years old. I had 8 years of service in, and I was out of the system in 3 days.
You lucky dog. Marine Corps wouldn't let me out. I tried to get out, but they laughed at me.
You had to be out of, you could not be in a war zone. You had to be in a neutral territory and put your resignation in.
They wouldn't let
That
me
is one of the
resign.
key items.
They said they paid me too money to re-up, and they wouldn't let me out because they didn't want the money back. They needed me in. I thought Marines had a...
It's over and done with, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, then forget it. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. Does it?
Well, it does.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't have a damn thing to do with what we're talking about coming out of the system right now. You're not in the Marine Corps right now, are you?
Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Bullshit.
That's a joke, man.
I know. See, that's believing in a false religion.
Mm-hmm.
It is. That truly is. It's all BS, man.
Yep. Mind control, MK Ultra.
All right, so you didn't happen to get out of the system keeping it quiet, are you?
Huh?
All right, did you get out of the system keeping it quiet?
Get out of the
You're not saying
system and
anything.
keeping it quiet.
Yeah. You wouldn't tell us if you got out of the system.
Why?
Okay, you will. That's good. That was a trick question.
I got a big fucking mouth. And you can't tell from the way I holler, you guys? I'm not going to go quietly.
Good.
But you told
Of course,
me.
when they give
You
us
told,
come and
you
visit,
told me
when they
that.
come and visit us, they may make us sign a thing saying we won't be spreading the word. You know.
What, you think they've got control over you?
No, I'm just
You're
saying.
still a
they're not-
non-believer. You're still a non-believer in yourself, having that you have the
No,
right to control your own destiny.
No,
How could you
I'm
be
just
a
saying,
protectant?
Patrick. I can see them trying to take one last draw at us and saying,
Oh, yeah, they will.
We got to have your signature.
And a lot of
here.
people will cow down to it.
Yeah.
But basically, there'll be some people out here to say, hey, I have the right of free will. I can do whatever I want to, as long as I'm not causing harm to anybody else.
Right.
But I have the right to help defend my fellow man because that's one of the commandments.
Right. And expose fraud, by the way.
Well, that man that died in Oregon believed in what he was doing, got killed for it.
Yeah, and he was wrong.
That's the way out.
Yeah. He went the wrong way.
He went the right way. He got out.
No, he didn't. He didn't basically go the right way. He was a nitwit. He was an idiot. He didn't understand the system.
Correct.
Just like Rod Class and all these other people that are out here trying to fight the damn system. They don't know what system there is, and they don't know who they are. All those people follow David Clarence with, oh, we're the executor, or we're the executrix. Hell, half the damn people that use that damn executor and executrix and then tried to write their own damn bonds and everything, thinking that they had the authority to do that in a fraudulent bankrupt system. No. They ended up going to jail. And all you have to do is turn over your executor over to them so that they can settle the matter.
Well, I know what you're going to say, Patrick. I know what you're going to say. I see there's something telling me in this M-1 you have here on Social Security Trust Executor, there's something missing. I can just hear it coming. I can hear it coming.
What's missing?
That's what I'm saying.
There's nothing missing there.
We're missing something.
No, we aren't.
You got everything in there that should be in there. It's good
Yes.
to go.
I've got who the executor is. The executor is that X, the one that has the number. We turned the numbered person, the all capital number person that's on that Social Security card, over to them. We got rid of a turd. We now have clean hands. They can't do anything. They have to process it because they now are under trust law as a trustee, and basically the trustee has to comply with what the beneficiary orders them to do.
Okay, now who created the indemnity? You mentioned indemnified trustees.
Yes, the state put a bond of protection against that office, against that officer, for their protection if they screw up.
Okay, I see. So that's a state.
Yes, the state or the United States Judicial Department had to put that bond on them. Now, in a lot of cases, they haven't re-upped some of these bonds, and some of those guys are out there naked, and they don't realize it.
I see.
And Judge?
And see, that bond is only there to protect them if you bring a charge against them in a bankruptcy court.
Okay.
Court that gives you the bond.
You do an involuntary bankruptcy against their bond of office for harm caused. Like I said, everything out here is about bankruptcy. The UCC is a bankruptcy code. The bar attorneys are working for the bankruptcy custodian, England.
Are you saying with this, I can get $334,000 from the bankruptcy I had in '88? I think I can.
You can get everything you have in your account right now, okay? In your Social Security account, and that's probably going to be a hell of a lot more than that, okay? You let sleeping dogs lie. You go on and try and collapse and get out of the system. You worry about trying to just recover something that you think you got harmed for, and basically you worry about that too damn much. You're still holding that damn turd.
Yeah, Congress screwed me over.
Yes, and you're going to keep getting sicker and sicker in the damn process, being a damn nitwit and not getting out of the system and enjoying life, getting rid of the turd.
I was doing a favor to an agency, and then they screwed me in Congress.
You've been screwed more times than you can shake a stick at, so get over it.
Not me, buddy. Maybe you, not me.
Yes, you have been raped royally for years.
That's true. Oh, yeah, I think this is good to go, man. This thing looks good. Sounds good. I just don't want to be laughed out of court. That's the only thing. I think I'm going to give this a try here.
You're not even going to be in court.
What are you talking about? They're going to drag my ass in there, believe me.
In bankruptcy?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Because I was in there once before.
This is not going to be a public bankruptcy. This will be totally private between the U.S. attorneys, the trustees, and the court.
I love it more. This sounds.
And you'll sit here on your ass at your home. They will take care of it all for you. That's why they're called trustees. They're supposed to be working for us now. We're the beneficiary.
That sounds even better, Patrick.
They would never let this out in the open.
Right.
Well, nobody's done it. How do we know? I mean,
all people have done this.
Well, they have.
Yes, but you never hear about them.
Yeah, I can care less about them. They're not me, so I'm not worried about them. That's why I'm checking this out. Yeah, I got you on the phone. I'm just looking this thing over, reading it. This thing looks good. Looks pretty solid.
And that's why you need to understand all the words that basically have been put up there in the past.
Yes. Wow. All right, so just leave turd in there. All right.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to basically make copies of these and get these all done. Have all JPGs of all your instruments. You put those in, and then you put these packages together and send them out.
Well, you got a Social Security number in there.
Yes, and you got to put your copy of your Social Security card on there too.
Yes. But why do you have to send several packages out when you got a Social Security number on this letter? I mean, on this.
Because you've got a driver's license, you've got a certificate of title to your house, you've got a marriage license, you've got a passport. Basically, these all created additional constructive charitable trust. And there's an executor over each one of those trusts. That's why I've got 9 packages that I'm doing a manumission for an executor on.
Okay, I understand that part. But what I don't understand, you got the trustees, right?
You've got the U.S. trustee You've got the U.S. attorneys. You need to give a copy to both the judicial trustee and the public trustee.
Is this one
You've
meeting
got to put
taking
something
place?
on both sides of the scales of justice.
Okay. Is there only one meeting or several?
Huh?
Behind the scene? Is there only one meeting or several?
No meeting.
Yeah, they'll get together basically and bring these into settlement. The trustees and the U.S. trustee and the U.S. attorney will basically meet with the bankruptcy judge and basically get the warrants issued to go and get those off-budget and offshore accounts brought home so that they can settle them.
All right. So you're making a statement that those attorneys know about these humongous accounts offshore.
Yes.
And they're full of digital money.
Huh?
I said they're full of digital money.
They're full of credits.
Or credits, yeah.
We will take the credits and turn them into assets.
What I don't see in here, and why I said earlier there's something missing, was you have credits, but you don't have credits released here.
You don't have what?
Credits released.
The residue is a release to us. All the residue credits are owed to the beneficiary when the trust is liquidated. We're making the trustee, the U.S. attorney, and the U.S. trustee the liquidators of these trusts.
But don't you need to give them permission to get into your account, and that's why you use credits released, as you had taught us before?
This is a trust. They already have the permission once we give them the executor.
Oh, I see. I see what you're doing. Well,
that's what they were waiting for, was to have the authorization to go into the trust. And now you give them the executor. Now they have the power to go into that trust. Because now they have that turd in hand.
So I'm gonna.
Patrick, I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I believe you're really onto something here. I think this is the final lap of everything that you've been trying to create here over the years. But I have a few questions. You said that many people have done this already, which I feel confident about. I feel confident about that statement that you made. But my question is, the people that are on like VA disability or Social Security disability or Social Security retirement, when they turn in that Social Security card, you say that then they will be able to access that bond. They'll get that deposited.
There is no bond, okay?
I mean, not bond, their mortgage, whatever their Social Security.
Trust, all the credits that are being held in that trust account that is being held off budget and offshore.
Okay.
And
this has already happened. This is the people that have done this. This has already happened.
Yeah. Very few people have done this. Okay. There's got to be somebody out there who's figured this out before. Okay. Just got to be somebody. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
But see. So what if you're on disability? 5 days per UCC bankruptcy law, section 5108. They have to settle this in 5 banking days. we've been sitting in there, and basically I went over this with several people that basically we've been in and out of bankruptcy court numerous different times. And basically putting all of our heads together, we started seeing what was going on, what we were missing in all those bankruptcy actions. One of the guys basically was told by the U.S. trustee, hey, bring all your bills to me. I'll take care of them. Well, he'd done something in the bankruptcy court there to basically turn an executor over, but the problem was he turned around and put the executor back up and put it in his hands and walked out of there. He didn't release the executor entirely. Several people surrender the damn driver's license, but they never really make the statement that they're doing a manumission of that or on the driver's license. So they turn around and basically in half cases they go back out and get a new driver's license after they paid their traffic tickets. So they're taking their executor right back. Does that make
Patrick,
sense to you guys?
Yes.
Yep.
Patrick, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
On you said do the Social Security card front and back. What about should we also put the picture of our driver's license on the driver's license one, and then the passport picture on that one? Should we do pictures on all of those? Okay.
Yep.
Yes, with all the numbers and everything that basically are on there. And see, most of those items, like the driver's license, and especially here in the state of Iowa, the passport number, they're all 9-digit numbers. So they're really trust bank account routing numbers.
Okay.
And then like the voter registration or the voter's card, basically, and take a look at your card. Did you put down you were a Republican or a Democrat? You just joined a false religion in violation of the First Amendment.
Yeah, I don't vote. I don't have one of those. I never did get tied up with that one.
Well, basically, if you've done one in the past, basically it probably still might be out there. And see, that's why when we get this main Social Security and all the major executors turned in, and then in our cover letter to the trustees and to the U.S. attorneys, we say any and all other items that are found by the U.S. Marshals, by the Secret Service, Enterprise Financial System, or even by the FBI in the system, they are also to be liquidated. Because they can go back and find any of your bank accounts and see you've also got FDIC trust for $250,000 if you've got a checking or savings account.
Would that go for closed bank accounts as well?
It all depends on how long they've been closed.
Okay.
3 years.
That's like 6 months.
Yes, it's still there.
Okay.
You think the government is going to stop making a profit off of you just because you closed your account down? Hell no.
No, I don't believe they were ever closed because I asked them specifically and they just kind of mumble-jumbled and didn't really answer me truthfully. I knew that.
Yeah, they'll try and use it as long as they can. And basically they've written some of these laws to basically be able to use it like for up to 10 years or better.
Wow.
Sometimes they're lifetime.
Do we make a picture
Well,
of?
as long as you're alive, basically that is still out there.
Do we make a picture of the check and put a picture of the check on the bank?
No, you just make a statement that basically anything else that's tied into that Social Security account, any other trust that is utilizing that Social Security account that you haven't mentioned is also to be terminated and liquidated.
Okay.
Because you won't be able to remember all the damn accounts you had over your lifetime. Hell, I was in well over 13 different states working out here, and I had driver's licenses in most of them.
In your
I had
opinion, do you
5
think...
different properties.
Wow.
Okay?
I understand that a lot of companies are writing bonds against our Social Security numbers. Would that cancel them out too?
Yes.
Good.
W-4s, anything like that. Okay? You
Patrick,
don't need these jobs that they're putting out here. They're underpaying you anyway. Why not get out of the system and then do something you want, the job that you want to do, and not work for the man, as old Tennessee Ernie Ford said.
Patrick, in your opinion, would a public library card be one as well?
Yes.
It could be. I don't know. Okay? When they come and see you, you can ask them that at that point in time. Okay?
Yeah. I was just kind of curious because they make you have a government ID to open up a public library card.
Oh, yeah.
They ask for a government ID.
How do they think they fund libraries?
Through us. Yeah.
Hell, a lot of times, even the graduation certificates that you got from high school and grade school and stuff like that.
Yeah, in college.
Yeah, basically they were putting all that out, all your student loans and everything else.
Mhm. Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Basically, the FBI, the U.S. Marshals, and the Secret Service, they have computer access to every account that you ever had in this country. It's all in the database because it's all tied through the Social Security account. Watch the movie Die Hard with a Vengeance. Woodlawn, with the damn big computers that they had at Woodlawn, was where all the financial items went into the Social Security system.
Woodlawn where? Virginia?
Maryland, outside of Baltimore. Bruce Willis movie. Every one of those Die Hard movies basically all came to play sooner or later. The last one, Die Hard with a Vengeance, the collapse of the damn Social Security, will probably take place this summer. Either they'll blow it up or something. That's why you've got to try and get this thing done as quick as possible and start learning this system and getting other people involved into this.
They're going to want to erase all evidence.
Yeah, they'll scound the stuff just like the Bushes did with the World Trade Center. The bank robbery for $160 billion worth of gold. And then they also got destroyed all the forensic investigative information that basically about the Bushes fraudulently controlling different things. Hell, the Bushes, I don't know how people ever voted any of those guys into office. They ripped off Silverado. They ripped off Lincoln's savings and loan. And hell, they've been voted governor of states and everything else. They're thieves. And people keep putting them in. Then you got Hillary in there.
Hillary.
A damn communist from the word go.
Hitlery.
And a dyke at that.
He copied that one on the
Anybody else have any questions?
No, that was very powerful, Patrick. Thanks.
Okay. When I get these other items done and I get my stuff sent out, I'll try and make templates of these and put them over to you.
We have a question.
Okay,
Thanks, Patrick.
Okay. We'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks,
Okay.
Patrick.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to go over this call a few times. You really pack the information.